Greetings, everyone. This is Tremendous Truths. I'm reading from 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Now, concerning what you write to me, it is ideal for a man not to be touching a woman. Yet, because of prostitutions, let each man have a wife for himself, and each woman have her own husband. Let the husband render to the wife her due, yet likewise the wife also to the husband. The wife has not the jurisdiction of her own body, but the husband, yet likewise the husband also has not the jurisdiction of his own body, but the wife. Do not deprive one another, except sometime it should be by agreement for a period, that you should have leisure for prayer, and you may be the same again, lest Satan may be trying you because of your incontinence. Now this I am saying as no concession, not as an injunction. For I want all men to be as myself also, but each has his own gracious gift from God, one indeed thus, yet one thus. Now I am saying to the unmarried and the widows that it is ideal for them if ever they should be remaining even as I. Yet if they are not controlling themselves, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to be on fire. Now to the married I am charging, not I, but the Lord. A wife is not to be separated from her husband. Yet if she should be separated also, let her remain unmarried, or be conciliated to her husband. And no husband is not to leave his wife. Now to the rest am I speaking, not the Lord. If any brother has an unbelieving wife, and she approves of making a home with him, let him not leave her. And a wife who has an unbelieving husband, and he approves of making a home with her, let her not leave her husband. And the unbelieving husband is hallowed by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is hallowed by the brother, else consequently your children are unclean, yet now they are holy. Yet if the unbeliever is separating, let him separate. A brother or a sister is not enslaved in such a case. Now God has called us in peace. For of what are you aware, O wife? Will you be saving your husband? Or of what are you aware, O husband? Will you be saving your wife? Except as the Lord parts it to each as God has called him. Thus let him be walking, and thus am I prescribing in all the ecclesias. Who was anyone called having been circumcised, let him not be decircumcised. And does anyone called in uncircumcision, let him not be circumcised. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but the keeping of the precepts of God. Each one is the calling in which he was called. In this let him be remaining. Were you called a slave, let it not be causing you care, but if you are able to become free also, use it rather. For in the Lord he who is being called a slave is the Lord's freedman. Likewise, he who is being called being free is a slave of Christ. With a price are you bought. Do not become the slave of Christ. Each one in what he was called, brethren, and thus let him remain with God. Now concerning the celibates or virgins, I have no injunction of the Lord, yet on opinion am I giving, as one who has enjoyed mercy by the Lord, to be faithful. I am inferring this ideal to be inherent, because of the present necessity, for it is ideal for humanity to be thus. You are bound to a wife, do not seek to be loosed. You have been loosed from a wife, do not seek a wife. Yet if you ever should be marrying also, you did not sin. And if the virgin should be marrying, she did not sin. Yet affliction in the flesh will such be having, yet I am sparing you. Now this I am averring, brethren, the era is limited, that furthermore those also having wives may be not as having them, and those lamenting as not lamenting, and those rejoicing as not rejoicing, and those buying as not retaining, and those using this word as not using it up. For the fashion of this world is passing by. Now I want you to be without worry. The unmarried one is solicitous about the things of the Lord, how he should be pleasing the Lord. Yet he who marries is solicitous about the things of the world, how he should be pleasing his wife, and he is parted. The unmarried woman as well as the virgin, the unmarried one is solicitous about the things of the Lord, that she may be holy in body as well as in spirit. Yet she who marries is solicitous about the things of the world, how she should be pleasing her husband. Now this that I am saying for your own expedience, not that I should be casting a noose over you, but for that which is respectable and assiduous, to the undistractedly for the Lord. Now if anyone is inferring it to be indecent for his virgin, if she should be over her meridian, unless it ought to occur that he will let him do, he is not sinning, let him marry. Yet he who stands settled in his heart, having no necessity, yet has authority as to his own will, and has decided this in his own heart to be keeping his virgin, ideally will be doing, so that he also who is taking his virgin in marriage, ideally will he be doing. Yet he who is not taking out in marriage will be doing better. A wife is bound by law for whatever time her husband is living. Yet if the husband should be reposing, she is free to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord. Yet happier is she if ever she should be remaining thus, according to my opinion. Now I presume that I also have God's Spirit. Amen. Thank you.